NHL regular season recap, night 68. First of all, apologies for not getting night 67 on TikTok. Hopefully you did catch it on the YouTube channel. However, kind of a weird night tonight. Just 5 games. 3 of those 5 finals were 4-3. All 5 games had at least one team scoring 3 goals, of course. And then really 4 of the 5 winners tonight were underdogs, aside from one game, which we'll touch on later. But we're getting things started with the Minnesota Wild against the Pittsburgh Penguins because one of my buddies wanted me to talk about the Wild. So here we are. They lose this one 4-3 in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. Might have had better luck if they started Marc-Andre Fleury in probably his final game in Pittsburgh. But nonetheless, Philip Gustafsson stops 26 of 30. Alex Nedeljkovic stopping 24 of 27. The Penguins came out hot in this one, scored 1 in the first from Riley Smith, and then in the second, Jake Gensel and Evgeny Malkin make it 3-0 before Hartman, Middleton, and Lettieri make it a tie game. Hartman and Middleton scoring in the second, Lettieri in the third, but just under a minute after Lettieri's goal, Sid gets it back for the Penguins on the power play, making it a 4-3 final here. Just not quite enough for Minnesota, who needed this one in a big way, still continuing to try to climb up the central standings after their rough start. The Ducks visiting the Red Wings, and the Red Wings' struggles continue in this one. The Ducks were hot early. 2 goals from Gudas and Mintyukov. Ville Husso ended up getting hurt in the first in this one. He gave up 2 goals on, I believe, 8 shots. Looked like some sort of lower body injury for him. But nonetheless, James Reimer comes in relief. He gives up 2 more, one from Adam Henrique, his 10th on the year, and then another from Troy Terry early on in the second. So 4-0 Ducks pretty early into the second period here. The Red Wings do a good job of fighting back on this one. Jeff Petrie makes it a 4-1 game just under a minute after Troy Terry's 4th goal for the Ducks. And then DeBrincat scores 2 in the third to bring us within 1 goal, but they could not tie this up. 2 points for each of DeBrincat, Gostisbehere, and Patty Kane in this one. So good games from them offensively, but need a little bit more from your goaltenders. And then, of course, got to try to pocket one more if you can do that. But a big win from the Ducks, who are trying to climb out of the Pacific basement. I don't really think it's going to happen, but they're on a 2-game win streak for the first time since very early on in the year. A 4-3 final for the Ducks here. The Canadiens and Jets facing off. No scoring early in the first in this one. In the second period, though, the Habs net 2 before the Jets get any. It's Josh Anderson and Christian Dvorak. Gabe Vilardi does score with less than a minute to play in the second, though, cutting the lead to 1. And then again in the third, Cole Perfetti with his 10th of the year makes it a 2-2 game, forcing overtime, in which Justin Barron.
I am smart.
Scores his 6th of the year on the power play, making it a 3-2 overtime win for the Canadiens. Jake Allen with his first spectacular game in a long while, stopping 30 of 32. Connor Hellebuck could have been a bit better in this one, giving up 3 on 26, but of course we've seen worse games this year. Nonetheless, a 3-2 overtime victory for the Canadiens. The Jets do fall to 3rd in the Central with this loss. The Stars taking on the Kraken, the only favored, in my opinion, team to win tonight, but not the only 4-3 final. In the first, it's Matt Duchene and Jason Robertson. In the second, the Kraken make it interesting. Tomas Tatar, Matt Duchene, and Matty Beniers finally make it a 3-2 game headed to the third, where Ellie Tolvanen ties it with just 22 seconds to play in regulation. But in the overtime, it's Thomas Harley with his 8th of the year. He's quietly been very, very good for the Stars. Scott Wedgwood, of course, playing while we are in absence of Jake Ottinger. He stops 35 of 38. Joey Decord stopping just 24 of 28 for the Kraken. The Kraken actually played a pretty good game tonight. They only get 1 point out of it, though. They're struggling a bit in the Pacific. Their record 10-14-9. A lot of those overtime points, but need a few more wins, of course, to climb those standings. For the Stars, with this victory, they do climb to 1st in the Central, leapfrogging both the Jets and the Avs. The Florida Panthers visiting the Calgary Flames in our final game of the night, and this one was surprisingly entertaining. 2 goals in the first period, 1 either way. Pospisil for Calgary and Reinhart for the Panthers. Reinhart's goal coming on the power play with just 31 seconds to play in the period. No goals in the second, and then in the third, 2 shorties from the Flames. Michael Backlund from Noah Hannafin, and then a shorthanded empty netter from Blake Coleman makes this one a 3-1 final. Both goalies pretty good. Stolarz stopping 22 of 24 for Florida, but Jacob Markstrom looking like prime Jacob Markstrom in this one. 33 of 34 for him. He was fantastic for the Flames, who needed a win in a big way. They've been on a bit of a skid lately, but they do find the win column tonight. 3-1 final to round out regular season recap night 68. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for night 69 again. Apologies for not posting 67 on TikTok, but always check out the YouTube. It will always be there. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.